Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Superbike 22. It's time for race 1 here in Assen with Iker Lecuona, and away we go. So into the first corner, then hard on the brakes will go when around the outside of Alvaro Bautista as we get really close to the rear of Toprak Razgatlioglu. Now to the right into Magic for turn 2. We'll try and have a lunge up on the inside for the right-hander of 3, but it's not going to stick at this stage of the Grand Prix. We'll continue to put the pressure on Toprak and try and have a lunge into Struben perchance as we have a bit of a lunge there and a bit of a nudge into the world champion as he gets almost careening off the track. But what an aggressive move for the man who made the podium right here this season in Assen. So Lecuona up into the top position with 0.3 of a second clear from Toprak Razgatlioglu. But before we continue with the commentary, I must mention this video was recorded before I changed all of my controls and configuration as Toprak gives us a massive whack up the wazoo, an unsuspecting bump into the right-hander there. But yeah, changed the controls just recently in a video. Definitely check out the video if you want to see the new controls I'm running. It's just that I couldn't use the rear brake and downshift at the same time, and there is an opportunity for Toprak to get up on the inside for the right-hander just after De Bolt, and now into Dukersloot. We'll continue to push forwards, but Toprak in the lead for now. We'll try and fight him back going into turn 12, 13 and beyond. But into the right hand side, just a little bit of change of direction, downshifting to 4th gear as we lean into the left hand side of the motorcycle for the ramshock, and we'll try and line Toprak up for a lunge into the gear to chicane. It doesn't look like it's going to happen yet. It's going to be close, but not enough for a lunge just yet at this stage of the Grand Prix. But across the line for the very first time of the 3 races we've got running in today's video, I'm going to try and close down on Toprak Razgatlioglu. So into the hard block for turn 1 for the second time of asking. We are beginning to close down on Toprak. It's just a matter of time, not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Do fancy another lunge into Struben, probably quite possibly my favourite overtaking spot of the Superbike calendar, and even MotoGP included. And here comes Iker Lecuona. Has he got it stuck? It's not quite. But with power setting 3 and the AI's terrible speed on straights, we should have no problem getting past Toprak and diving up the inside for the right-hander here into the Weinschlang and then into the very, very innocuous corner of the Russian hook for turn 7. So coming out to turn 7 quite strongly there actually, but Toprak goes up on the inside into the Stackenval. Very brave, but Iker Lecuona a little bit brave by going around the outside, and now we'll do a battle once again into De Bolt for the next corner. So a little bit deep there for Iker Lecuona for the first time of this race. I've really made a big mistake there. Letting Alvaro Bautista through is never a good idea. Don't let the Spaniard get through and start churning out the lap times. That's the opposite of what we want right now. But Bautista and Razgatlioglu ahead of us. No sign of Johnny Ray in the top 5. He's down there in 7th position. That's what I expected from Jonathan Ray. But as we now go to the left-hand side for 14 and then into Ramshook once more, we're going to be able to close in on the brakes, but with lack of feeling and confidence at this stage as we get close to Alvaro Bautista, and it's another mistake from the young Spaniard, and we've got to do all the work once again. So across the line for the 3rd time, no mistake there from Alvaro Bautista. A very solid lap for him, fastest man on the track as it stands, a 1:34.405. Not quite the pace we were doing in the qualifying, but it's not what I would expect when you have those fantastic SCQ tyres. But right now running the SC0 and the D3 front. I did quite like the development front, and it seems to be working well at this stage of the Grand Prix. But with this 5-lap sprint race, it's not really a sprint race, but kinda is. It's not the sprint race, which will be coming up in just a moment's time. But with picking up the speed here, taking advantage of the AI's slow acceleration, we should be able to go around not 1 but 2 into the Weinschlang. It's going to take a brave man to outbrake Razgatlioglu into that corner, and no one can defeat the Turk into this particular corner this time around. So into Stackenval for turn 8, keeping it in nice and tight there. Tight, clean and tidy for the right-hander there as we now go firm on the brakes for De Bolt once more. Lack of feeling at the front. Oh, a little bit wide there, and De Bolt has caught us out for the 2nd time in succession. Looking great, and then all of a sudden, disaster. And disaster again as we almost lose a position to Andrea Locatelli there. The Italian wanting to get involved there, but thankfully just pushed him to one side briefly to retain the position. Now, something I've mentioned a few times is I'm not using the rear brake and downshifting in tandem with the current configuration, hence the reason I went change for the... Oh my lord, didn't see Locatelli going for it then, but now braking quite firm and late into the gear to chicane. Andrea Locatelli takes over 3rd position, and the podium is now out of reach for the first time. Look at the speed difference. The Honda screams down the straight as we go into Harbach for the Fourth time of asking, firm on the brakes you like, and then we're going to try and do battle once again. But the front tyre, the right hand side there, is looking a little bit worse for wear. Something we should be able to manage for the duration of this Grand Prix. But on the penultimate lap now, Alvaro Bautista fancying a little bit of a pop at the Yamaha R1. Can he get through? Does he want to go through at this stage, or is Toprak going to be too impervious in this particular part of the Grand Prix? So under the Pirelli sign we'll go then, leaning it into the right hand side. Going to start braking here, nice and gentle, downshifting to third, maybe even second just at the exit there, and then slowly give a bit more power as we come out of it. But I'm pushing hard now to try and chase down Alvaro and Toprak. It's a little bit of a big ask now though. 1.2 seconds behind we are as we go firm on the brakes for the fourth time of asking it to debolt. We do get it right this time around, thank goodness. And we do have enough fuel to continue to burn through power setting 3, so I should, in theory, be able to catch them up. We've just got to make sure we get some stellar lap times coming now, and we've been relatively consistent so far with a few mistakes here and there. And out of turn 12 in a corner I can never seem to pronounce, but into the hog hider for turn 13. 14 to follow in the Ramshook afterwards. We're going to get close on the brakes, I do hope. That's where I feel strong in the MotoGP games, but I cannot say the same right now as we get a double track limit warning there. Iker Lecuona pushing a little bit too hard at the stage of the Grand Prix, almost desperate to be quite honest with you. But the difference in lap times, Alvaro Bautista, fastest man on track once again, a 1:33.722 for the Spaniard ahead. It's this Spaniard in third place doing his best on the Honda to stay with the top two men in the championship right now, in real life of course. Or into Struben then once more for turn 5 for the final time of this race 1, but we'll now come out of the corner and pick up that speed. This is where we can take advantage of the AI's lack of speed as we now take the 1 second disadvantage to Toprak and Bautista, getting their lead down to 0.7 of a second. This one could still be happening, guys and gals. We could have a chance of getting on the top step of the podium, or at very least maybe a second position, but we've got to get it right from this point forwards. Locatelli behind, he's not going to be much of a trouble, neither is Gerloff or Rinaldi, and neither is Johnny Ray and Axel Bassani. But to the left hand side for DeBolt for turn 9, Bautista ahead by just 0.8 of a second, 0.9 of a second. The gap is teetering, it's oscillating somewhat as we'll try and move ourselves up into the next couple of gears to chase down Bautista and co. I don't think it's going to happen. We're going to need a miracle to go into the final couple of corners with a bit more speed, but for now I'm just really curious to see if Bautista's got anything to get up on the inside of Razgatlioglu. Can Bautista go for it? The Spaniard doesn't fancy it. Razgatlioglu will win the first Grand Prix, but look how much we've closed in. Excellent performance from Iker Lecuona and across the line. I think we just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix there. Not too bad. Hope you guys enjoyed that one so far. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you have enjoyed. But for now, we've got Toprak at top, Alvaro Bautista second, Lecuona third, and now it is time for the sprint race. So in pole position, we're going to be holding down that clutch, waiting for the red lights to go out, and away we go. A little bit of a sluggish start from the young Spaniard. Toprak gets the whole shot into turn 1, I think. Maybe if we're strong enough on the brakes, possibly go around the outside, but that's a brave ass to go around the outside of the Turkish rider, the world champion no less. Toprak up into first position, and now it's time to do the business again as we get really close and give him a little nudge just to bump him out of the way well before Struben, as a matter of fact. Thought I'd be saving it for that corner again, but this time around just got to get Toprak out of the way and take over at the front. A 3-lap sprint race just requires us to make no mistakes and get the hell out of there and away from Toprak. So we've done the business so far with Lecuona. Now it's just about keeping it together. 3 laps, that's all we got. And of course, if you're not aware of how this works with Superbike, the idea is whatever positions the top 9 are in is the positions they'll start race 2 from. Anything else from beyond there will start from their qualifying lap time. So it's very important for us to have a good race. But if disaster were to strike and we weren't to finish in the top 10, or we were to be crashed, we would be starting dead last. So it's imperative we have a good result in this sprint race. This is the Super Pole race, of course, i.e. a sprint race. So coming out of DrAce Loop for turn 11, we are 6.5 of a second away from Toprak, which is an excellent start. Running the D1 tyre and the SC0, we've got a pretty good feeling right now, and I do feel quite confident that if we just stay as we are, we should have this one in the bag. So into the gate to chicane then for the first time of the 3 attempts in this particular part of the video. A little bit messy there. I'm surprised we weren't given a track limit warnings, and the same can be said once again, but across the line we have slipped up here. Top Rack has got the first position, and now we've got to do all that work again. There's big contact into Top Rack, which he practically barged him out of the way there just to get on through. Iker Lecuona has got the bit between his teeth. He wants this victory. So a little bit wide then into the Ossenbrook for turn 3. We're going to keep an eye out for the right side. I knew he'd be there. Top Rack Razgatlioglu. He fancies a lunge, but so do we. Up on the inside for Struben for turn 5. Iker Lecuona gets back to the front and says, have a bit of that, Top Rack. And Johnny Ray now up into second position. So Jonathan can do us a big favour here. Pushing Razgatlioglu down into third and Bautista off of the podium gives us a chance to claw back some valuable points if we have any chance of taking the overall victory for the weekend. But into second valve for turn 8, keeping it a little bit too tight there. Did do that quite a few times over the weekend in the free practice, the warm-ups, and even in the qualifying itself in the Superpole. I did find I was doing that quite too often, but keeping an eye on the gap. Mr. Ray, the 6 times world champion, behind us by less than 3/10 of a second, or at least he once was. The gap seems to be oscillating a little bit, but for now, just got to focus on getting the job done. It's good to see Razgatlioglu has fallen down by the wayside just ever so slightly, because now we have that gap and a chance to take victory here today. This would be Iker Lecuona's first victory in World Superbike. Of course, it came close in Assen in real life, but it didn't quite get the job done, as Jonathan Ray and Top Rack both crashed out of that particular Grand Prix. So across the line, the fastest man on the circuit right now, 1:33.904 for the young Spaniard. That would put us firmly in pole position for the race 2, and it seems to be that no one else is competing with that lap time at this stage of the Grand Prix. We look quick, we look smooth, and most importantly, we have the lead. So a 9/10 of a second gap that could be turning into 1 second in a moment's time. We're just going to keep on pushing, but there it is, a whole second advantage for the very first time in this Grand Prix. And now Bautista temporarily lost a position to Locatelli there, so the Yamaha and the Ducati battling tooth and nail for that 4th position right now. It's not the first time we've heard a Ducati and Yamaha going at it, is it? So coming out of the Russian up then for the final time of asking as we go into second valve for turn 8. Once again, too tight to the apex for the right-hander there. That's a mistake that is just cropping up into our little bit of a game right now. So we've got to pay attention and try and keep away from the right-hander there in second valve. But now into the other right-hander for Mandeven. We're going to keep on pushing as that gap has just dropped ever so slightly. The Honda CBR 1000 treble R or double R. I can never remember how many R's is in this name, but we have dropped a little bit to Jonathan Ray, but I'm still confident in our abilities as we now go into turn 14 for the 3rd time in the Superpole race, down to 3rd gear, lifting it up to 4th. Nothing left on the front and the rear on the both right-hand sides. It was a risky strategy, but it looks like it's going to pay off nicely as Iker Lecuona takes his first victory in World Superbike. So the sprint race goes to Iker Lecuona, and now that means our grid positions are the top 9 for race 2. So race 2, here we go once more for the final time in today's video. The red lights are now out and away we go. It's another 5-lap race here in Assen with Lecuona from first position. Razgatlioglu got a great start. Is he going to get the whole shot into turn 1? It's not going to be him. It's going to be Iker Lecuona, finishing up from where he started in the, at least starting where he finished in the previous race, in that Superpole race. We now have the top position. Jonathan Ray was the big loser, starting second. He's dropped down to 4th. So Razgatlioglu, Bautista and Lecuona, the 3 riders who have been fearless in Assen this weekend in this particular video. And of course, guys, if you are enjoying the video, don't forget, hit the like button and consider subscribing as well. So into the right-hander, the Honda purring at this stage of the Grand Prix. A beautiful bike. I do think it's the best sounding bike in Superbike 22. Let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree. I do really think it sounds amazing, but once again, too close to the apex for Steckenval. Got to fix that. That part there is losing us a lot of time on the entry going into De Bolt, so we've got to pay attention to that and try and avoid the rumble strip for Steckenval. But now into Mandeven for turn 10, and there is Top Rack Razgatlioglu going for a lunge up on the inside. Classic Top Rack style. Didn't even know he was there. Beautifully done from the turn, but we've got a lot of speed here. This is the point where we are going to be super strong due to the acceleration of the Honda, but it's going to be a tight gap that's going to be not... Oh, it's disappeared and we've got off the track. Oh my goodness! Has that just completely scuppered our chances of anything good in this race? We are down to 10th position. From 1st to 10th in a matter of one corner. Massive moment here in Assen. Now the comeback is going to have to be on, but we're going to try and dive with the inside of Vierge, which we've done. Now it's time to get a hold of Axel Bassani. Grab him by the scruff of the neck and get through, because we need to move on through. And there it is, the big aggressive lunge from Iker Lecuona. Xavi Vierge behind. He'll be quite impressed with what he's seeing from his teammates. We'll give Scott Redding a little bit of a nudge. I'm going to try and go into Struben and get ahead of the BMW, but it's not going to happen. The 29-year-old from Gloucester says, no thanks, Iker, you're going to have to try and go around the long way, which we do with the additional speed of the Honda. We get past Redding, we get past Gerloff. Do we have a chance on Rinaldi? Not quite. Bit of an aggressive bump, though, going into the right-hander, but now in for the left with Russian hook. I do think we can claw back some more positions, but Rinaldi's in a good spot there. Good defensive position from the half Venezuelan Italian. But we'll now pick up some speed and try and get on the brakes there for De Bolt. Not going to be strong enough or confident enough to lunge into De Bolt. And there's a moment going onto the rumble strip for turn 9. Got to be careful with the rumble strip in this game. Any sense of curb can be deadly in Superbike 22. So behave and touch the rumble strips at your peril. So coming out of turn 12 now, we do have a chance of getting some more additional slipstream as we go into the entry for the Giat Chicane in just a moment's time. Possible lunge on Rinaldi. It's going to be a long way back. We fancy it. We kind of do. Up on the inside of Rinaldi. He gets shoved wide. Don't know where he is now. He might have actually gone into the grass there or to the gravel. Don't think he's going to be too pleased with that. But the fastest man briefly was either Locatelli or Razgatlioglu. I did see a Yamaha appear on the left-hand corner of the screen. But now it's Iker Lecuona after that disaster from the previous lap. This one is the important one. 1:33.803 for Lecuona. Only 4 riders ahead of us, separating us from victory. And of course, just to recap, if Toprak Razgatlioglu stays in first position, he will take the top spot of the championship results from this particular Grand Prix. But we'll now try and get past Andrea Locatelli. Do we have a lunge up onto Jonathan Ray around the outside, then into the left-hander? Takes a brave man to make that move, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do it. But if we finish the in top position, we should win the overall standings of this Grand Prix. So certainly something to mention, and certainly something to bear in mind. Alvaro Bautista, don't think he can really do it now with Lecuona in 4th and Razgatlioglu in the leading position. Jonathan Ray in 3rd. He's going to pick up some valuable points for his championship charge, but for now into turn 10, closing in on the Northern Irishman as we now go to the right-hand side for Ducasloot. We'll bring on the power once more, lean into the right-hand side, and hopefully we can get some additional slipstream to chase him down for the Giat Chicane. So change of direction then, just clipping the rumble strip and then bringing it into the left-hand side for the Ramshut corner. Staying in 4th gear this time around as we downshift to 2nd. Nice and gentle, another downshift and get the change of direction to pick up the speed with slipstream down on the Assen straight, and then hopefully into Harbach. We should have a lunge on Jonathan Ray, and we certainly thought about it. I fancied it. Fastest man on track once again for Iker Lecuona, 1:33.347 for the young Spaniard. But up on the inside and contact with Jonathan Ray. Oh, Ray will not be impressed. Ray will not be happy about that one. Oh, goodness me, one will not be pleased. I didn't mind it because we managed to get on through, but up on the inside of Bautista now. What a comeback. Brilliant performance from Iker Lecuona. Feeling the Honda now. Really enjoy using this bike. I think it's the best one in the game for me. I'm a big fan, but Toprak going super slow on the straight here. We're burning all the fuel and the power from power setting 3 as we get a bit loose and a bit scary going into turn 6, but now into the Russian hook. We'll have a lean into the right-hand side, so we keep it in nice and tight for Steckenval. This time, actually, we don't go tight. We go a little bit wider, and this time we didn't touch the rumble strip, so maybe that's the key from now on. But the penultimate lap is beckoning a victory for either Razgatlioglu or Lecuona. Who's it going to be? Let me know in the comment section down below before you watch the end of this Grand Prix. But to the right-hand side for the Ducasloot, I do feel, with that advantage of the acceleration and, of course, the top speed, I do feel we've got this one. We've just got to try and scythe the bike through on Toprak, but it's just finding where. I fancy, as always, turn 5 into Struben, but we've got to get close, and we are getting close. I do feel really, really solid now, from considering where we started in this video compared to the sprint race to race 2. I feel pretty good. And that's another fastest lap for Iker Lecuona. Going to go hard on the brakes and possibly around the outside. Look at that for bravery. Never mind for turn 5 for Struben. We've gone 4 corners earlier. The Harbock has absolutely harboured a wonderful move for Iker Lecuona around the outside of Toprak, and we now have the lead. But Toprak will not be perturbed. Is he going to continue to push? 0.4 of a second separates Iker Lecuona and Toprak. 2.5 of a second. Alvaro Bautista still remains on the podium as things stand. Who knows? Johnny Ray might give him a good old whack and he might get back on the podium, but we'll see for now. But into the Weinstein, it's a 0.7 of a second advantage. In some strange way, the bump and getting caught off the track there was probably one of the best things to happen to us, because we have come alive in this part of the Grand Prix. 3 straight laps of an improvement, and now we're still looking pretty fine and dandy for this particular lap as well. De Bolt has been tackled. It's a little bit late. 2.5 of a second separate Razgatlioglu and Lecuona. He's got to be there on the right-hand side of the screen by now. Still no sign. I can hear the R1. It's screeching to get at Lecuona now. Toprak will have the bit between his teeth. But who's going to finish in the top position? I do feel like we've got it now. Into the gear to chicane. Heartbreak is always beckoning someone for that fantastic corner, but with a 0.5 of a second advantage, we should have this one in the bag. Firm braking for the final corner, change of direction for 17, and it is going to be a full race victory for Iker Lecuona. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that one even as half as much as I did, because I had a great time commentating that one, and of course doing the racing as well. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. If you really enjoyed, be sure to hit the subscribe button and stick around, because I've got so much more content for Superbike 22 coming out very, very soon. And look at that. We win the overall standings by 1 single point. Whew, unbelievable. Well, thanks as always, guys, for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh, hi. Didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.